It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome to the Daylight Midnight Show. My name is Greg and I've just realised I really should have gone for a wee before we started this show, but there you go, it's too late now. Best thing to do when you need the loo is to put more liquid on top of it. Well, welcome back. A rhyming couplet to start the show then, as we always will during Series 3. Halloween has happened now. I hope you tricked or treat. I've just had a tooth out, so I did without a sweet. With that, let's set the quiz question then. So every week on our wonderfully expensive display cabinet, we're going to have the answer to a quiz. It's going to be a mystery object that you might find in your own house. I'm going to give you a clue as to what that object might be, and you have the course of the show to work out what the answer is. And if it turns out you were correct, you award yourself a prize from your own cupboard. So this week's clue is this. It's bigger than a moth, it's smaller than a mammoth, and you might be watching this on one. We need DM the Daylight Midnight Monkey to guard it for us. So his job is to sit here and make sure that none of you can sneak in and check or hack into this. And I've forgotten how difficult this is to do. I really should start doing this before the show starts. Work with me, buddy. Got it? Brilliant. So a reminder, bigger than a moth, smaller than a mammoth, and you might be watching this on one. And because the parts of the clue start with the letter M, it means the answer also starts with the letter M. Now that's set, let's have a look at the Cartoonimator, which now has its own theme song. When I cook with cheese, I use a slicer, not a grater. Let's see what gets thrown out by Greg's Cartoonimator. I think it's better if I go down. I'll keep working on that. So the Cartoonimator is a very special, very technical device that over the course of the week will absorb everything that's going on around me, the energy of my week, and it will come up with a little cartoon that's normally badly drawn, which I can then put up, and it sort of highlights what's been happening to me since the last show, and I'll explain to you what it represents. So in the Cartoonimator this week we have this rather wonderful A-level grade drawing here. I need to stop doing this on white paper because it makes the camera go funny. But that is this. This represents what I've been up to. Halloween-style storytelling over the past couple of weeks. So this is a picture of me with a rather bored-looking audience. We've got the spider's web in the corner. And, oh, the birds. Yeah, I wanted to draw like a goose in flight, but I can't. So I've gone back to doing it the old-fashioned way that I learned when I was at school. I was doing this storytelling in a lovely village on the North Norfolk coast in a wonderful outside location. And this time of year in Norfolk, you start getting things like pink-footed geese coming back, ready for the winter. So every night, as it was getting dark, we would have about 500 geese flying over the top of us. And it is absolutely wonderful. It's a wonderful time of year to be somewhere like Norfolk. And that's yet another reason why I get to love this county. So that's put up there, ready for next week. So what I want to talk about this week, we're following on with the food theme from last week. And I'm sure I've mentioned before how much I love food, and I love experimenting with food, and I love trying different food combinations. And I love it when you have an experimental chef that will put together things that have never been together before and create a new taste or a new recipe. But I do think there have to be rules. And I might have mentioned this before, but I will just remind you, I have something that I call the twin tastes that touch theorem. And I think ingredients should only be put together in a recipe that occur naturally next to each other in the natural world. So for example, roast pork with apple sauce, I can imagine pigs snuffling and truffling around in a field where apples have dropped down off the tree, right? Chicken and mushroom pie, you can see chickens scurrying about and scrapping and pecking at a ground where mushrooms grow naturally. So those are all right. But when people start doing things like tuna and sweet corn, which I know is a very popular thing, I can't imagine any scenario where those two things would naturally occur next to each other, unless you've thrown a tin of sweet corn over the side of a boat or a fish is incredibly lost. So the rules for this are, they should be foods that occur next to each other, and I've done twin tastes, so there's only two, because you can get carried away and put 4 or 5 big things in, lots of spices. I'm sticking with 2 key ingredients that I think go well together. As usual, I've given this far too much thought and spent too long with a long list and then narrowed it down to a shorter list, and I've picked my final 8, my great 8, so I'm going to go through them with you now. Coming in at number 8, we have a classic, chicken and sweet corn. The real key for me is, does it work on the top of a pizza? And I think chicken and sweet corn does. I've also had chicken and sweet corn soup, and you can put it in a salad or a sandwich. Very, very, very versatile. And now I'm saying that, I'm thinking maybe I should have put it higher. But they're quite bland tastes, let's be honest, whereas some of the other ones, there's more of an explosive taste to it. So I put that at number 8. This is at number 7. Now don't knock this until you've tried it. Coconut and raspberry. And I'm aware that this probably flies in the face of my own rules, because you're not likely to land on a desert island where coconuts will drop and raspberry bushes will be growing. But I have checked, and it is conceivable that they could be growing in the same location. This happened to me by accident just a couple of months ago, and it was an absolute revelation. And for anyone out there who is involved in the production of ice cream, this is the flavour I want you to come up with for next summer: coconut and raspberry. That's my number 7. At number 6, slightly cheaty one this, because it's like an either or situation. But both of these are sandwiches that I used to have a lot, and again, they work very well as pizzas. Now, I've put cheese. I'm going to specifically put this down to cheddar, or possibly red Leicester. So it's cheese and onion, or cheese and tomato, an absolute classic in a sandwich. I can't eat either of these anymore, unfortunately, because onions and tomatoes are the things that mess up my stomach. But in the old days, I would very often have one of these as a sandwich in lunch. And when you're working in a close-knit office and there's lots of people around you, they will tell you they'd rather have cheese and tomato than cheese and onion. I put that in as my number 6. Now, quick apology to any vegans or vegetarians watching, because the next few are going to get a little bit meat heavy. At number 5, I've put bacon and mushroom, and I don't think this needs to be explained. Again, the versatility is there. You can have it with pasta. And the real test, as I always say, does it work on a pizza? Bacon and mushroom, yes it does. Number 4, this is where my printer did something really weird and sucked a bank statement in and printed the next one on a bank statement, and I didn't want to show you my bank details, so I've done this by hand. Coming in at number 4 is sausage and egg. I think the bacon and mushroom thing put me in mind of breakfast. I do like a cooked breakfast to set me up for the day. Sausage and egg, I'm thinking specifically Cumberland sausage with scrambled egg, or, if you prefer, Lincolnshire sausage with a fried egg. And yes, it does pass the pizza taste test, because if you've never had a fried egg on top of a pizza, you have not lived. Now the top 3, we're into the 3 already, and for me these were a clear top 3. The others were nice, but these are the 3 that really stand out. And this is going to be the first time in this series that I'm going to mention the word Christmas, because coming in at number 3, we have stuffing and mayonnaise. Boxing Day for foodies is one of the best days of the year. You've got all those leftovers, you haven't got the stress of the Christmas dinner, you just put out a massive buffet and graze all day long. And for me, the absolute wonderment of a Boxing Day lunch: some really nice bread, bit of butter, thick mayonnaise, sliced stuffing cold. Try it this year, you'll be thanking me. Number 3 on my list, stuffing and mayonnaise. Number 2, this to me, I think it was last summer that I really tried these two together in equal measures, and it was like a spiritual moment. I started believing in the existence of a God that could take 2 things that I love, among my favourite tastes, put them together in equal measure, and there's just this incredible explosion of flavour. At number 2 is strawberry and kiwi. And again, if you're out there in the land of ice cream, let's give this one a go. Maybe for next summer. So we're down to number 1 then, and I went round and round with this. Strawberry and kiwi always came number 1. This works with pasta. I love Mediterranean food, and this has got a real Mediterranean ring to it. And again, I've done it on a pizza and it works. My number 1 taste twin combination at the moment, as I was thinking when I did this one, is chicken and chorizo. And you've got the satisfying ch sound to both words as well. So that's my great 8 list for this week. I'm now starving, hungry, and my mouth is salivating. So let's do outfit roulette to find out what I'm going to be wearing on the next show, and then I can go and have some lunch. So using the randomness of the Rubik's Cube, we spin that, and it tells us that from column 1, we need to go orange. So next week I will be wearing nothing. That's not a very good start. Over the top of that, I will be wearing whatever is in column green, and column green is a suit jacket. So it'll be this jacket with nothing underneath. I may button this all the way up to the top. And to accessorise all that, from column 3, we have whatever is in the black line, which is a bow tie. I'm going to look like a really cheap, not very good stripper, because it'll be nothing underneath, a suit jacket, and a bow tie. Let's do the quiz reveal then, and don't forget, if you got the answer to this right, you award yourself a prize. The clue was this: it's bigger than a moth, it's smaller than a mammoth, and you might be watching this on one. With many thanks to DM, the Daylight Midnight Monkey, I can tell you that this week our mystery object was a mobile phone. I'll see you soon. Have a great few days. Chicken and chorizo for lunch?